Hello and welcome to Becoming Abundant podcast. I am your host, Anna Maria Jinga, and this is our side of the internet where we get to speak about true abundance, personal authority, emotional optimization, and the pure power of alignment, all while living in the presence and guidance of God Himself. I am a holistic coach and mentor focusing on healing the emotions keeping you stuck so that the mind and body can align and live a limitless life. We all have a mission and a purpose, and I am here to help you unchain from what's been holding you back to actually live in your full potential. Think of it as transformative triggering in the best possible way. The time has come to live a life you love. Let's dive in. Hello, my darlings, and welcome to this week's episode. I am your host, Anna Maria Jinga, and this week we're going to have a lot of fun with our topic. But before we dive into that, I really want to send a big, heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you who reached out after the testimony episode I posted last week. You guys are amazing. I loved every single message I received from you. I love the fact that it transformed you. I love the fact that it helped you understand things better, maybe even me better. So thank you so much for all your comments, all your messages. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing that part of my journey with you. That gives us a big understanding of how we can create this relationship of host and listener together and what to expect of me more and more. Now, that being said, I'm very excited to dive into today's topic. I've actually noticed this topic coming up for quite a few of my clients for the past few weeks. And I've noticed a single pattern in all cases. So I thought, why not put it into a podcast episode to help more of you kind of trek waters a little easier? So the topic is, and actually the question that constantly came up was, how do you keep going when you don't see results yet? How do you keep that fire from extinguishing? And while I would totally kind of piggyback on episode 3 and say, well, faith is going to keep you going no matter what, if it's true, if it's strong, if it's anchored in. But let's also work on the mindset part of things. So, whenever we think of situations, examples, experiences that you're going through, and you want to see a better result, but you're not there yet, when you're on your healing journey and it hasn't clicked in yet, when you are building a business and you're not getting the clients yet, when you're growing so much, but you're still not reaching that level that you've set up for, what do you do then? A bunch of people have mentioned, I just want to give up. I just want to give up. I'm done with this. This is exhausting. I am not seeing results. I am self sabotaging myself. What do I do? Well, a few things that I usually advise you to do is not give up. That's one. But now, joke aside, when you do give up, what was all that work for? When you do give up on all the energy that you've invested and on all of the work and all of the struggle and all of the late nights, early mornings, sacrifices, where do they go? Is it even worth it to give up? Are you the kind of person that just gives up? Because if you've answered no to that, it's time to shift gears. Because whenever we don't see results, it's because we create a certain expectation. But if that expectation is not being met, then you feel like a failure. And you forget all of the other things that you've been doing. You forget other things that other people have been doing for you because that expectation hasn't been met. So you feel betrayed, you feel alone, you feel lost, you feel stuck, you feel yucky. All of those, kind of circling back to our second episode where I talked a little bit about emotions and frequency in the body. All of those emotions and thoughts lower the frequency of your body. So you become less resourceful. You become more stuck in a downward spiral instead of the one that actually takes you out of the problem. So, what do you do then? Well, some of the things that you're capable and able to do are within your control. And those are take a break, detach from the whole experience and give yourself space to see it from a bigger perspective. See the healing, see the business, see everything from a bigger perspective. Two, if you're actually realizing that you're self sabotaging the growth, the situation, the experience, think of what is that action of self sabotaging actually teaching you. Do you feel like somewhere inside of you, you're not feeling worthy enough to have the business? Does a pattern of you not feeling capable enough kind of creep in because you're trying to do things a little bit different than what you've done so far? Is it maybe because you just want to blame? I'm self sabotaging myself. I can't do this because I'm getting in my own way. Well, I will tell you, hand on heart, my dear listeners, if you're aware of it, you're doing it on purpose. You don't even realize it that you're doing it on purpose. Because somewhere inside of you, there's a pattern of victimhood that's trying to take you back to feeling like you're not capable, like this is not happening. If you're putting in 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks or months of work into something and you're not seeing yet results, my questions are, do you know how to recognize the results? Do you track the things that are actually working versus the things that are not working? Are you actually committed to making the results happen and living with the belief of already them being in your reality, even though not yet? Because what I have noticed in quite a few of my clients is that when things get a little harder, instead of pushing through, you just want to avoid because it's uncomfortable. And whenever we have uncomfortable situations, we're not looking at ourselves to say, hey, how can I simplify this to make it a little less uncomfortable and a little more productive? You actually turn around and go into, oh, this is again hard. I don't want to do hard anymore. I hate it. I'm done with it. This is annoying. I quit. I quit. Or the famous, I'll do it later. Later never happens. And when later never happens, you come back to me. In my client's case, you come back to me and you say, Anna, it's not happening. I've done the work, I've showed up, and then it got hard and I'm not seeing results. What are we doing? Why are you not seeing results? Do you even know what results you were expecting 2, 4, 6 weeks into the process? Do you know what's going on that is getting in the way of you actually allowing yourself to live a fulfilling life? Do you know that it is your responsibility to actually take action and commit to taking the action that might feel uncomfortable until it gets so simple that your nervous system is not seeing it as uncomfortable or threat? I will always be here to remind you that you have way more in control than you think you do. I actually had a client the other week where she's going through a lot of healing, emotional, mental healing from patterns that were keeping her really, really low and stuck. And we were talking in our morning session around why is it taking so long? The thing is, it didn't take a day for you to get to the place where you feel like things are no longer working. Your systems are not in place. Your life feels like it's burning. Everything's falling around you. And that's okay. The things that are falling out of your life did not need to be there. The things that are falling from your grasp may be teaching you to reach a little further. The body feeling like it's constantly getting sick or uncomfortable, or old things coming up like digestive issues or immunity issues and so on, might be pointing out to the fact that you are not allowing yourself to fully heal. Because maybe somewhere inside of you, there's this strong anchoring into an identity that if you allow yourself to still be a victim, there will be a knight in shining armor coming to the rescue. The thing is, I will be always here to remind you that you are your own knight, and the only king that's coming in your life to save you is Jesus. And maybe that's not what you wanted to hear, but that's okay. That is my truth, and I'm sharing here my truth. And you will notice that a lot of you will feel either uncomfortable but agreeing, or will want to fight me. And that's okay. Because whenever we hear truths that rattle our identity that we've lived in for so long, it's because we feel unsafe. Whenever we feel unsafe, we feel back and fall back into our old patterns of feeling unworthy that we probably picked them up in childhood from an emotionally unavailable parent or from an over caring, overbearing parent or sibling or someone important in our life that was trying their best, but giving us the wrong tools. And when we have the wrong tools, we keep using them with the expectation of seeing different results, when in fact, you cannot hammer properly a nail with a glow stick. Would you agree? I don't know where that metaphor came from, but we're working with it. So imagine a hammer and a glow stick. And you say, I want the glow stick because it's shiny and available to me. And I want to hammer this nail in the board. How long and how hard and how painful will it be to hammer with a glow stick that nail? You're probably better off just stomping on it and praying to God that you're not going to end up with needing a tetanus shot. But that's the thing. When we have the wrong tools and when we have the wrong systems in our minds, we tend to want different results that are not manifesting in our lives. So, circling back to our question, how do you keep going when you don't see the results yet? First, I advise you to check what tools you're using. What are you actually doing and using that is there to support you? And is it actually supporting you in the process of getting your results? Two, how important, how actually important it is for you to get your results. Because if you say it's important because it matters to me to be healthy, thriving, aligned, abundant, blah, 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 but you're actually not feeling full trust that you're worthy of receiving the results, those results will always be just an arm's reach away. And you're always going to be frustrated because somewhere inside of you, you're expecting frustration. Three, do you know why? Why it's important for you to receive your results? Because I want to have a fulfilling life. Great. What does that mean to you? How does an actual fulfilling life, an actual abundant life look like, feel like, sound like, taste like is to you? Because if you do not know those answers, you will not get what you want. Because if you do not have the clarity of what you want, how will you know when you have it? And fourth, and my favorite, absolute favorite thing to mention in most of my calls is, are you ready to become the person that has the results already in their life? How would that person be? Who would they be? What would they do? What would they say? What systems would they have in place? What kind of mindset and beliefs would they have? What would they focus on? How would they dress? How would they eat? Are you ready to become all of that? Because if you say no to any version of that identity that you would need to become in order to have your results are not happening. And I'm not even sorry to say that, because some of you, my loves, you need a wake up call, and you needed it for long enough and you were not ready to hear it, even if it was screaming in your face. So now I'm just whispering in your ear as you're listening to me, speaking to you about the truth behind why you're not getting your results, and the truth of why you focus on how do I keep going. You just go until you get your results, and you pivot and you shift and you morph yourself into who you deserve to be, and you work on every little aspect of who you actually need to be in order to get those results. And that, my darlings, will lead you to a fulfilling life. That will lead you to becoming abundant. So, my homework for you, I hope this was really informative, because I really had fun sharing this perspective. Now, my homework for you, my loves, is figure out what is your why behind the results that you want to see in your life. Figure out your why, because when you know your why, it's easier to work with everything else. But when you don't know your why, you don't have clarity. So when you have your answers, please, please, please email them to me at info@becomingabundant.net. Make sure you follow me along on all my social channels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all the magical places with my handle, I am becoming abundant. Because if you do not know yet, we are doing a beautiful challenge over on Instagram, 30-day challenge to becoming abundant. And I'm sharing a lot more homeworks and insights of how to grow closer to your true abundance, to your true fulfillment. We wrap into all of the personal growth, a lot of God teachings as well, because the word of God is true personal development. I'm really happy to be on this journey with you as we uncover not only your true potential, but your pathway back to your true self. So thank you for joining today. Thank you for listening in and maybe taking notes. I'm really excited to hear about your answers and your homework. Make sure to share this with anyone that would benefit from listening and hearing all of the wisdom that I just dropped. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, may mercy, peace, and love be multiplied to you. And I wish you love and lots of blessings. Bye.